But that's what's so great about music is that, when people talk about like, oh, the trajectory of music through time, or like the thread, right? The thread of stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of what they're referring to, is like we're all just it's like one big long research project. We're all collecting all of the things that we can that's been done, and it's filtering through us, and as individuals, we also have our own like life experience, not musical experience, but life experiences and feelings about things and reactions to things and value systems. And we're able to take all of that stuff and filter it through our personal beings and make something that expresses what it is that we want to say. All of which could not be done if we didn't have those experiences that inform our intuition. So the intuition is something that we love, but also that we hate.
Yeah, that's the most succinct and accurate thing I've ever heard said about intuition.
There's a gosh, I wish I had this on hand. There is a Carl Jung has a quote that I read recently about intuition that said something like, "Learn to recognize and control your intuition, or else it will control you, and you'll call it fate."
I love that. That's awesome.
That's paraphrasing. I don't have it in front of me.
Sure,
It was
yeah.
something like that, but it was like, yeah, we can be tricked into thinking that we're doing something that we're not. The first person that sparked all of these ideas in me was Mario Davidovsky. I took lessons with Mario for a year, and he said to me one time, like, none of us have ever come up with any new ideas. The human mind is way too interesting and complex for us to understand that what we're doing is actually something that we've already experienced.
Yeah.
And we don't even recognize it because our minds are so brilliant.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked it being put that way. It's like, oh, your use of your intuition isn't you being like sort of dumb and uninformed. It's that you're so brilliant, you don't even know what's in your head. And it's like this stuff is all coming out of your mind. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That
Well,
that was like the way he kind of put it was like, isn't that amazing?
what is it, like only 10% of our brain activity is actually consciousness?
Right?
The rest is like subconscious and
Yeah, who knows what kind of crazy stuff's happening. It's
yeah.
great.
That's why we're composers and not neurologists, I guess. I think one of the biggest impacts that you've had on my own compositional work is your approach to timbre or instrumental color.
Mhm.
So, how do you think about sound and timbre, such as the blending of characteristics between seemingly disparate instruments, like a snare drum and a bassoon, for example? Right?
Mhm. Oh, that's a good combination. I love sound, and this whole thing started off with me telling you that I had found that tin lunchbox,
Mm.
that Charlie Brown lunchbox that I would play on, and I mean it. I thought it sounded like a snare drum, and so that was my mind remembering what a snare. I didn't have a snare drum. I remembered what it sounded like, and I was comparing. I was hitting things and comparing them to what was in my head, and saying, "Oh, this sounds like that thing. This one doesn't quite sound like that thing." And I love listening to sounds and comparing them, you know, for whatever reasons I might have to do that, and saying, "Oh, this particular part of this sound sounds like this particular part of that sound." Like they have the potential to latch onto each other. Or, gosh, these sounds have nothing in common. The format and the quality of the brightness of this sound is completely out of whack with like this other one. I don't see how those could happen in conjunction with each other. So we're going to put them together, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But as a percussionist who played a lot of non-pitched percussion instruments, in orchestral and other settings, I listen to a lot of different sounds. That's opposed to like other instrumentalists who mostly listen to their instrument's sound. I mean, not to pick on euphonium players or anything, but if I played
Yeah.
euphonium in college and I played in the marching band or whatever in the concert band, and they don't let you all in the orchestras, but other places, Um,
Yeah.
if I played euphonium and I was serious about playing euphonium, I would hear a lot of euphonium.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would hear recordings. I would probably listen to recordings of other people playing euphonium. As a percussionist, that wasn't my experience. It was that I hear thousands of different sounds in a week and have to be intentionally listening to the quality of them. And I guess that led me down to like my interest in like orchestration and combination of different things and the particularities of timbres. I wish I had time to do more electronic music. No one commissions you to write fixed media playback pieces.
That's true. Yeah.
I've never been commissioned to. I don't know who that would be. Like some AI would commission you to do this thing or something. But
A robot.
but I would really love to explore more sounds through the medium of electronic music, through spatialization. I mean, we have a Dolby Atmos system here at Penn State. I can spatialize in that. I would love to spend more time doing that because I love sound so much. But I'm writing pieces that I'm collaborating with other people on, that mostly pieces I've been commissioned to write, and nobody wants a fixed media playback piece. So then I can explore sounds in other ways. I really love the music of Helmut Lachenmann. I'm really inspired by the treatment of instruments and the variety of sounds. I don't write music like that. Maybe I should, but that's the other thing, is I don't write music that sounds like all the music I love. My music also doesn't sound like Morton Feldman's music. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Green. Anthony Green's a much different composer than I am.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, there's a separation between the music that I love and the music that I write. And the music that I write is all different from piece to piece, which is like one thing about my performance experience that informs my composing. Having performed so much in so many different settings, different styles, different settings with different ensembles, I performed virtually every kind of music, every kind of Western music at least, and a lot of non-Western music, but not all. But I loved all that stuff. You kind of have to as a performer. You have to do a good job performing this music. You have to get to know it. You have to practice it. And I developed somehow a way of loving all the music that I was playing. I don't remember having to play something that was like a gig or something where I was like, well, it's a gig, I got to do it, but oh God, I hate this. That was never me. I loved all that stuff. So the problem is now, as a composer, I still love everything, and that has kept me from having a voice. That means that if you listen to my piece Dreamer and you listen to my piece Into Emptiness, it sounds like they're by two different composers. And I love both of those pieces. They both sound like me to me, but they really sound like they're by different composers.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Micromaker by Loose Leaf Transmissions. We hope you enjoyed this brief glimpse into the inner workings of the creative life. If this resonated with you, be sure to check out the full conversation on Music Maker with Tyler Kline, a podcast exploring craft and process, philosophy and inspiration, and the honest, often messy parts of being an artist, creative uncertainty, purpose and identity, and resilience. You can find Music Maker wherever you get your podcasts or by visiting musicmakerpodcast.com.